And welcome to the K-Files. We have with us this morning Lieutenant Sherrod. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have JP. Do we need to give an introduction?
I'm just glad to be back.
I'm glad you're back.
Good to see you, Skeet.
Missed my sidekick over there. But anyway, of course, the K-Files is a program where we try to solicit for tips for cases, murder cases, unsolved murders, and even hot and now cases that have just happened. Tips are so important. You, the public, can solve these cases. I would dare say the percentage is very high of cases where the public is involved.
Oh, I agree.
And give information to you all. So anyway, this morning we just want to talk first of all with Lieutenant Sherrod and let him just give us the names of the cases. We're going to talk briefly, not really go into any cases. We're going to talk about a project that his son did. But right now we'll say the hotline is 406-6736, and we have up to $15,000, and later on we're going to tell you about a payout we made. Yeah, we just made a payout. So anyway, it does happen, folks. People do give tips. So if you're led to do so, please do it. But let's start off by just naming the cases that Nash County has and just ask for the public's help.
Right. We still have Randy Colgrove's case still open. Mm-hmm. Of course, Travis Lynch, the missing person from Middlesex case is still open. We made one arrest in the Legil Evans case, the one from Castalia. He was missing from Greensboro. Mm-hmm. But we're still working that. You know, Sergeant Josh True will come up here on the show, talk about that. We're still working that because we believe there's others involved. And then the cold case that we opened last year, Letitia McNair. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's got any tips, please call us and pass on that information for us. And
you can call that number, or you can call the Sheriff's Department at
459-4121.
That's right. So please feel free to do so. Okay, your son is an Eagle Scout.
He is trying to get his Eagle Scout.
Oh, he's trying to get his Eagle Scout. But that's what the project's all about, trying to get his Eagle Scout, and we hope he does.
Well, we're hoping. Tracy and I have a son named Parker, and he is in the Boy Scout troop in Nashville. And it's time for him to come up for his Eagle project. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted to do something, and he wanted it to kind of reflect in law enforcement since he grew up in it. And he came up with the idea that he wanted to add the missing names to the monument up at the courthouse in Nashville.
Wow.
And so we had to, so he got together, and she's going to show you a clip right here in a second. On January the 3rd, he went to the Nash County Commissioners and presented his plan to them so he could just, they could give him permission since it's on courthouse property. Mm-hmm. So we can watch that now.
Sir. Glad to have you out there in time. Please proceed, sir, and it's your show, and don't feel uneasy at all. We're all here to hear what you got to say.
Yes, sir. Hello, Commissioners. My name is Parker Sherrod. I'm 15 years old, a sophomore at Rocky Mount Academy, and I'm currently in Boy Scout Troop 76 out of Nashville. My parents and I have came to you today for your approval regarding my Eagle Scout project that I would love to complete. My proposal has already been approved by the Fraternal Order of Police, Rocky Mount Lodge. My idea is to add the 5 names missing from the fallen officers' memorial right outside of the courthouse. This project means a lot to me, being a part of the law enforcement family, so I did not think twice about requesting this. 5 names missing from the memorial, from oldest to newest, are Chief James Stallings of the Spring Hope Police Department, whose law enforcement journey ended September 21st, 1910, after succumbing to a fatal shotgun wound. Richmond Powell of the Princeville Police Department, whose journey ended August 21st, 1923, due to a fatal stab wound. David LaShawn Manning of the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office, whose journey ended March 11th, 2018, due to a motor vehicle accident. His family is here today, and I would like for them to stand up. Thank you.
Welcome.
Next, Christopher James Driver of the Rocky Mount Police Department, whose journey ended June 23rd of 2018 due to a motor vehicle accident. His family is here, and I would also like for them to stand. Lastly, Jared Michael Allison of the Nash County Sheriff's Office, whose journey ended December 1st, 2021 after a motor vehicle accident as well. I would like for his family to stand up. With your approval today, I have one more step before I can begin this project, which is present my project to the Eagle Scout Board. If it is approved there, I will begin fundraising and hopefully begin on my project. I think he wants to say some words.
When we first
Very good.
What an awesome project.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
For a young man to take the reins and feel that way. I know he grew up in law enforcement, yes, but for that to be his thought for his project was just awesome.
It is.
It was, and he talked about it, and like I said, he's got one more step to go. He's got to finish his booklet up and present that to the Eagle Scout Board. Hopefully, we wanted to go in February, but they met last Monday, and he didn't have his book completed, so we're going to go in March, and hopefully they'll approve it, and he can start doing his fundraising campaign stuff and raise the money to get it done. But we've also come to the conclusion that if by some reason or another the Eagle Scout Board doesn't approve it, we're going to still raise this money and get it done anyway.
How much money do you think you're going to leave?
We got an estimate, and I think it's probably roughly around $500 a name, so about $2,500.
Okay.
And
Oh,
plus
that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
No.
And I think he also come up with the idea to put some kind of like a little sitting bench right in front of the memorial, so it'll be about, who knows, by the time it's all said and done.
Okay. Well, he's a nice-looking young man. He got that from his mother.
You think so?
No,
but,
he is a nice-looking and spoke well.
Yeah. Well, thank
he
you.
Spoke well.
He did. He practiced it. We made him practice, and you know, he got lucky because in this quarter of school, he's got public speaking, so he got some practice in before he had to actually make the
Well, that was
statement.
good. Yeah.
But so, and then after the meeting was over, we were able to meet with the families, of course, and like I said, we wanted to get his school involved. So of course, there's Parker. You know, he's a sophomore, like he said, at Rocky Mount Academy. Plays 3 sports. He plays football, basketball, and baseball, and he's been playing travel baseball since he was like 5 years old. In this picture right here is the headmaster at Rocky Mount Academy, Miss Beth Covelo, and then on the side is the head upper school supervisor, which is Mr. Timmy Tucker. We got them involved as well. This picture is Mr. Steve Wordsworth on the side. He and his wife, Miss Elaine, have taken a strong liking to Parker. Parker's always wanted to go hunting. I've never hunted a day in my life, didn't know what to do. And Miss Elaine took him hunting, and his first deer with her was an 8-pointer.
Oh,
And,
what?
and then so they started hanging out, and I dropped him off a couple more times, and I think they ended up killing 4 more deer before the season was over.
My word.
And then, of course, the gentleman on my left was Scotty Parker. He is the, you know, he used to work at the sheriff's office back in the day.
Scotty will.
He was the former United States Marshal for the eastern part of North Carolina, and now he's currently the deputy commissioner for the DMV. But more importantly with that, Scotty's role is he's Parker's godfather, and he's also named after Scotty.
Oh,
So,
really?
yep, Parker, you know, well, of course, Scotty Parker, and then in this picture is Jared Allison's mother and stepfather. They came down to see Parker's presentation. And then I think the next picture is Sheriff Clee Atkinson came down, and then that's Chief Deputy Gene Harrell, and then that's David Manning's mother in that picture. We had the pleasure of meeting Chris Driver's dad, but he left before we took pictures.
Took the picture, yes.
He was also at the presentation as well.
Well, that is going to be just an awesome, awesome thing when those names get put up there. And it's going to be so rewarding for Parker to know that I was instrumental in helping this to happen, along with a lot of people, donors and things like that. But it's going to really be so rewarding for him.
He will. You know, the FOP was gracious. I mean, they've opened their arms wide open. I mean, they owned the monument, so they were very grateful that he wanted to do it. And I've already said that when he gets ready to do his fundraiser, they're going to open the FOP lodge up for him. And if he needs to cook stuff or whatever to sell plates, then they're gonna help him with that. And then I mean, I've already got tons of phone calls from people saying as soon as he starts raising money, let us know, because they want to donate to the cause. And you know, and he's been fortunate. He's got a lot of publicity behind it. Of course, the county commissioners were behind it. We also reached out to Clerk of Court, Linda Thorne, to get behind this project. We reached out to Superior Court Judge Quentin Sumner. He got behind this, and of course, Sheriff Stone. We wanted to make sure that the county leaders were all behind this.
Oh, yeah.
And so all those people behind it. And then after he did the presentation with the county commissioners, Amanda Clark from the National Graphic called me, wanted to do a story about it, so she was able to do a story about him on the paper. So I mean, he's got a lot of people already wanting this project to get approved and wanting or willing to help when it's time to start donating money and do some work.
That is great, and my hat's off to Parker for, again, you know, thinking about this. I mean, it's just, that's
I didn't even
wonderful.
realize we were missing 5 names.
I know. This has brought awareness.
Well, you know, I knew of the 3 recent ones, and that's in Parker. He had the pleasure of meeting 2 of those guys. He had a pleasure of meeting David Manning, and he had a pleasure of meeting Jared Allison. So when we started talking about it, he said it meant little to him because he met 2 of the 3 guys. But then when we called the Fraternal Order of Police in Rocky Mount, they said there was actually 5 names missing, and we were like, well, if you're going to do 3, you might as well do 5. So.
Might as well.
So
that's good.
That's what hopefully that's what we're going to do. Well, we're going to do it either way, but hopefully it'll be considered his Eagle project.
Well, that is great, and we certainly can't wait. When he gets his Eagle Scout, we want him to come up here.
All right. So
we'll celebrate.
Good.
So it's always good when a Boy Scout goes as far as to get the Eagle Scout. I mean, you know, it's tough, and I think it just does the you know, it'll do Parker so good to do that. I mean, it really will. So I'm so proud of him, and tell him to come see me to get some money.
I will.
Same here.
I will. I appreciate it.
Hit me and JP up.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Sherrod, for being on this morning, sharing this story. I think it's a great story. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you the first of the month in March.
February. No, it's March. You're right, March. It is February, isn't it?
It is. So we'll see you next month.
All right.
All right. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
And welcome back to the K-Files. JP, we have a reminder for the folks.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that the North Carolina State Highway Patrol Caisson Unit Fundraiser is February 19th, 2022 at 5 o'clock to 9 at the Rocky Mountain Mills Complex. All you can eat. Oysters, shrimp, fish, barbecue, fixings. We're going to have live entertainment. Please come out. Please support the North Carolina State Highway Patrol Caisson Unit. They provide these services free of charge across the state of North Carolina to dignitaries, law enforcement officers, other first responders that are killed in the line of duty. They need your help. They need your support. It takes a lot of money to keep the Caisson unit operational.
How do you get them online? Can't you get them online?
Yes, you can get these tickets online at the North Carolina Highway Patrol Troopers Association website. Just Google NCTA or North Carolina Troopers Association, or you can get them from me. Call or text me at 919-369-0311. Again, 919-369-0311. I'll bring them to you.
Very good. We can't get any better than that.
I deliver.
Delivery. Want to talk a little bit about, JP, the Caisson Pine Tops, Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office handled that. It was on Christmas Day, unfortunately. A guy went in to the home. A girl and her boyfriend were home, went in. This was her ex-boyfriend, came in and killed her boyfriend. He went missing. They couldn't find him, but they knew. She told who it was. She told him immediately what happened. She told him who it was, and then they couldn't find him. So they looked and looked, and a tip came in, and they went over and without incident made an arrest, and we paid out a nice sum of money. I will say that to her. So that's how it works, folks. That's how it works. And we paid within 24 hours, and well, actually it was a day longer because it snowed, and there was 1 day delay, but I mean in 2 days we had cash. Now it's cash, folks. You don't have to cash a check, you don't have to go to a bank, nothing. We handed over cash to this person. So
the wheels of justice have finally began to turn in this case.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes,
That's good.
and they've got
Money
him,
makes
and he's
people
yes,
talk.
Yes, and it was a nice sum of money.
That's good.
So I mean, you know, so anyway, arrest was made, and he is locked up and off the streets, and there's so many other cases out there. There's so many other unsolved cases that you know about, that people know about, that if you would just call in the tip. I don't know who the person was that called the tip in. JP doesn't know who it was. We have no idea. It is anonymous. It goes directly to the sheriff's office. It does not come to us. We do not know who it is. So it's that easy, and you can collect the cash. And as I said, it's quick. We pay quick, and it's upon arrest. As soon as they arrested him, had him in custody, we paid. It's not upon conviction. He has not gone to court. It's upon arrest. So that's how easy it is. I mean, we make it very easy. We knew that we couldn't do upon conviction because it just could be tied up. Nobody wants to call in a tip that they got to wait 3 years for their money. Most of these cases will take at least 2 years, 2 to 3. You got to let the defense get their case built, and you got to let the DA get their case built, and then, you know, the court system, you got to get dates with them, and that's, you know.
Almost every case in this book, somebody knows enough information to solve almost every case in here. I guarantee it.
You're exactly
There's no telling
right.
how much money in payout is in this book if people would just take advantage of it.
That's a good thought. If you think of it that way, well, that money is just on the loose,
just
folks. It's waiting for somebody to respond. Now, this show comes on again on Friday nights at 7 o'clock, and other times as well. We play it several times. So you have an opportunity, if you know, oh, I know my friend so-and-so knows about that, let me tell them to watch. Watch online. They can also go online. It's on YouTube.
And you know, Rocky Mount's the butt of so many jokes when it comes to crime in a negative way. Look, take pride in your community. Take pride, take ownership in your community. Pick the phone up, make this community a better place to live, work, and raise a family. Call anonymously and help get these people off the street.
Yes.
Help solve these crimes. You can do it.
Well, you may tell you the thing about it, JP, is they have probably committed another one.
No doubt, and they will continue to perpetrate crime in this area.
Yeah, they're habitual until they are caught.
That's right.
So, you know, please come forth and call the hotline. If it is in Rocky Mount and it's a case in Rocky Mount, you're welcome to call the police department, or 977-1111, which is the Crime Stopper number, or you're welcome to call the Nash County Sheriff's Office or Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office or Halifax or Wilson or wherever, if it's the case. Now, we've talked about several cases in Wilson. Tammy Grady, all of them. Call the Wilson Sheriff's Office or 406-6736. Give us your tip and you will be protected. It is, you will have anonymity. So, and you will get paid cash money. So, anyway, let's go ahead and talk about another case. We will be putting out another booklet, from what I understand, I think in a couple of months. So you'll be able to pick up another book. I talked to a lady the other day. She said, I've got that book and I just enjoyed reading through it. A lot of people tell me I read all the way through it before I even stopped because I was so into it. So anyway, let's talk about a case at the beginning of the book, JP. Let's talk about Robert Earl Demery. I don't think we've talked about him before.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We can talk about some of these in the beginning. I don't think we've talked about a lot of these in the front of the book. This is a kind of a short synopsis of it. We don't have a lot of information or details on this one, but Robert Earl Demery, 9/22/77 was his 16-year-old Robert Demery was found shot in the parking lot of London Mills on the 500 block of Paul Street in Rocky Mount. London Mills.
See, I'm not familiar with that.
There is a plant over there that, of course, is closed, and I guess that's it. It's a lot of those. One used to be Rocky Mountain Undergarment, one London Mills, one. So if you know where London Mills was, folks, 500 block Paul Street, you know where this was at. He had just returned home that night from out of state and was last seen getting off the bus. Oh, I remember this case when Linda was talking about it. Last seen getting off the bus at the Rocky Mount Trailways bus depot on South Washington Street. A dark-colored car was seen leaving the London Mills parking lot. I mean, he was getting off the bus.
Yeah, that's...
And been out of town all this time. I mean, you would think, I mean, he hadn't even been here. So just as soon as he gets off the bus, he's gone. So if you know anything about this, I mean, this young man was 16 years old.
And this is from 1977, September 22nd, 1977.
Golly, yes. What? Ooh, that's a long time ago. Robert Demery, if you know anything, it's still an outstanding case. We want to close some of these cases so they can move on to other cases. But the longer the case stays out there, JP, unfortunately, harder it is to solve it. And it stays and stays on the books. So anyway, and right above it, we'll talk about Alma Ruth Atkinson, 7/31/82. Now this is an old case, old case. Officers of the Wilson Police Department were dispatched to 608 Suggs Street in Wilson in reference to a person who was hurt in a residence. Officers arrived and found Alma Ruth Atkinson murdered as a result of a stabbing which occurred approximately between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. The suspect was described as being a black male that was between the ages of 18 to 25 years old. He had brown eyes, a medium afro, had a light complexion, a thin mustache that was curled up on the ends, and that should be kind of a good description right there. And a scar that was about 6 inches on his right leg near his ankle. The suspect would be between 55 and 65 years old now. Wow.
So that must be a picture of him.
Yes.
In the book.
Suggs Street, 608 Suggs Street, between 2 and 4 in the morning. Somebody just came in and murdered this lady. It was a stabbing. So if anybody knows anything about this, please call the number. This has been a while ago, 1982. And a black male between the ages of 18 and 25. Again, brown eyes, medium afro, light complexion, thin mustache, curled up on the ends, scar that was about 6 inches on his right leg near his ankle. So these are identifying features. These are identifying things. Anything that, tattoos, anything like that, if anything ever happens, notice, if you can, always notice details like that. Those details can help a lot identify someone. So anyway, we'll put those two out there right now. We're going to go to weather and be right back with some more.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and welcome back. Well, we've got a couple more cases for you this morning. We're going to go over a couple pages over from the one we were going to talk about, and let's go to Rhonda Stansberry. I don't think we've ever talked about this one. This is a long one.
Yeah.
This is 12/9/2006. Let's, JP, you want to read this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
At approximately 6 a.m., 24-year-old Shonda Renee Stansberry arrived at a Waffle House in Roanoke Rapids near I-95, where she and her sister worked. Shonda appeared to have been beaten with bruises that covered her face and legs, and there was a swollen knot on her temple.
I remember this one, don't you? We talked about this one. This is good.
Shonda got a ride with a customer who was well known to her and taken to the West Side Trailer Court in Roanoke Rapids. Although she lived with friends, Shonda was dropped off to never be heard from again. Shonda's mother, Gloria, filed a missing police report on December 14, 2006 at around 10:15 a.m. She was concerned because Shonda would contact her on a daily basis and she hadn't heard from her in several days. The same day her mother took out the missing person report, a woman contacted 911 at approximately 11:30 p.m. to report that she saw two men chasing a woman who had no clothes on and was screaming for help. The caller believed it was Shonda. She stated she was being chased behind a convenience store near the woods off Highway 158. Investigators eventually traced the call and located the witness a couple of days later. The witness advised detectives that she was familiar with Shonda and was certain it was her. Again, she advised that she had no clothes on and had blood dripping from her mouth and she was screaming for help. The witness was scared to stop, so she waited until she got home to call police. The witness described the two men chasing her as black males. The first man was between the ages of 28 and 32, so he would be between 42 and 46 now. Stood approximately 5'8" in height, large and muscular arms, stocky build, dark complexion. He was allegedly wearing denim jeans, a white t-shirt, and a baseball cap. It's likely he may have been bald. The other man was described as having a light complexion, stood approximately 5'6", medium build, and dreadlocks. He was said to be wearing Timberland boots, jeans with a patch on them, and a brown or light brown oversized button-down shirt. Investigators questioned the convenience store employees, and they advised they hadn't seen or heard anything. So law enforcement also investigated the area and found no prints, no disturbed brush outside, or any other type of evidence that Chandra was there. In January 2008, over a year after the disappearance, several people reported that they saw Chandra in Wilson. Some have claimed to have confronted her, but Chandra never contacted her family, as they had told her to. Investigators have searched the Wilson area repeatedly.
Yeah, she goes to the Waffle House in Roanoke Rapids, and there's only one Waffle House in Roanoke Rapids that I know of. So you know where that is. To see her sister worked there, just went there to see her sister, and left there. And somebody saw her. She had appeared to be beaten, as JP said, beaten with bruises that covered her face and legs, and a knot on her temple. And she got a ride with a customer.
So that means it was, you know, you don't just get in a car at random with someone you don't know or you feel safe with.
No. And it says who was well known to her. So she knew who the person was. And she went to West Side Trailer Court in Roanoke Rapids. I don't know where that is, but, you know, a lot of you in that area do know, and we do cover Halifax County. So West Side Trailer Court, Roanoke Rapids. Although she lived with friends, Shonda was dropped off, was never heard from again. So she was dropped off. And her mother, of course, filed a missing person because she didn't hear anything from her.
And she usually heard from her on a daily basis.
Yeah. That happens so much. I mean, people say, oh, like Tammy Grady, they said, her sister said, oh, I talked to her several times a day. And then all of a sudden they're just gone. I mean, imagine how a family feels that loses somebody like that. I mean, one minute they're here and one minute they're just nowhere to be found.
That's when you know as a family member something god-awful bad is wrong.
Yes, you do.
If you talk to that loved one and it is it's just a commonality that you speak to someone 2 or 3 times a day, and then one day comes and you no longer talk to them, you no longer hear from them, I'm telling you something bad has happened.
Yeah. Well, so then, then there was someone that saw 2 men chasing someone that they believed to be her. They said it looked like her. They knew her. They said it looked like her, but they were scared to stop. You don't stop anymore. People don't, they're scared to stop anymore. And do you blame them?
The thing here to me that was odd is, does the convenience store have cameras? Did law enforcement, it says here that they responded, looked around the area, there was no sign of any disturbed debris around back or around the store. No other witnesses claim to have seen this. This lady apparently drove home and then reported it. It looks like to me the clerk would have heard it.
I know.
The clerk would have seen it. Other patrons of the store, customers would have seen it. Okay.
Exactly.
You know, that's, something here is odd.
I mean, she was being chased behind the store, so why didn't the cameras, why, maybe they didn't have cameras, but most convenient marts have cameras.
If you were on the way home and you live 20 minutes from here, but you were a mile away and you saw a woman getting chased by men around a store, are you going to drive home to report it, or are you going to go to the nearest safe location and use a phone?
Yes. I mean, did she not have a cell phone? You know,
it's just odd.
Did she not have a cell phone in the car? That is strange.
It's odd.
So,
it's almost like a planted story.
Yeah, it almost is, because it does sound, like you said, it's just a little too odd. She had clothes on, no clothes on, and had blood dripping from her mouth, screaming for help.
And this is from another female now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's very odd, and it looks like somebody at that convenient mart would have seen something, or somebody around the convenient mart. I mean, a convenient mart usually has 1 or 2 cars at least. I mean,
and store clerks are very observant as to what's going on in and around them.
Yeah,
always.
They are. So that's kind of strange.
Something here is odd.
Yeah, it's very odd, and that may be why they can't, because they're not getting the right stories.
Truthful information.
That might be why they cannot solve the case. So anyway, just very, very odd. I want to go back next week. I would like to go back into, we haven't talked about it, and I had somebody ask me, had we talked about it in a while, and that's the Jeff Cobb case. We need to talk about that case next week again, because I've had someone that kind of requested that we bring that back up, and they wanted to hear the story again. So next week we'll kind of get into that. That's a long, drawn-out kind of case, and I want to get some more details.
Is that the county commissioner?
Yes. I want to get some more details on that case, other than what we have, and see if we can't do some details of that case again, because like I said, people ask me all the time about that case. That was a high-profile case. So, and if you want us to talk about a particular case, then we'll be glad to do that. I'll try to get as many details from law enforcement as I can, see if Linda has any details of a case. If you're interested, like she did, reach out to me. And I had the case that Letitia McNair, that Lieutenant Sherrod was talking about this morning. I had a real estate person reach out to me, and they said, I wish you'd talk about that case because I taught her. And so we got to talking about it. It really wasn't detailed until the lady called me, and we really, I talked to Lieutenant Sherrod, and he gave me more a little bit more detail, what he could. You know, they can't give you but so much, because it's an open case, unsolved. But so, I mean, the public asked me about that one, and we got into it and learned about that one. So that's another case that's just a shame. But anyway, we'll talk about Jeff Cobb next week. We will do that. So if you're watching, be ready, and I'll have some details for you. Don't forget, we are completely anonymous. The K-Files is a show under the board name of Team Cold Case. That's our board, and the hotline number is 406-6736. So the name of the game is for you to call and get these people off the street and give closure to families. I mean, that's what we're all about. That's what we want to do. So we hope you will do that if you know anything, or if you know anybody that you believe knows something. You might want to encourage them. They can get some cash, and they will not be identified for it. So anyway.
And again, if you need tickets to the North Carolina State Highway Patrol Oyster Roast, call me, 919-369-0311, or text me, 919-369-0311. All you can eat, February 19th at Rocky Mount Mills, and there'll be live entertainment.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a 10. I'm going.
It is.
A tent, and just so don't worry about it if it rains. We hope it won't. But there's a tent. They're going to have plenty of oysters, and the oysters come from Edenton. They said.
That's right.
Okay.
And it is climate controlled. It is really, really nice. You will be impressed.
We thank Brian. Well, if you know Brian James, he's the one supplying the tent. We know it's first class.
It
I mean,
is.
he does it right. We know Brian does. So anyway, we really appreciate the work that y'all have done, JP and all the guys that are working on this endeavor. It's a lot of work, and it's for the Caisson folks. If you've ever seen or been to a funeral with the Caisson unit, you will know what I'm talking about. It will really touch your heart. So anyway, they're doing it because, as we said, it's not a cheap endeavor. I mean, it's a very expensive endeavor, so it's to raise money for that. So it's such a good cause. So please buy a ticket, or if you can't go, like I said, like I said when the guys were on, you know, if you can't go, just give a donation.
That's right.
You know, you don't have to go. I mean, it's not a requirement. Just give a donation. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you for watching the K-Files. Thank you, JP.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.